This is Midweek Politics with Dave Pakman.
Hey, welcome back to the show. David Pakman here. Joining us on the phone is Cenk Uygur. Cenk, I heard your car broke down.
As usual, yes. You know, there's these conspiracy theories and some of the left-wing blogs that I make a lot of money by, criticizing the president. Oh, how I wish that were true so I can get a new car.
It sounds like your Orly Tates. Just last week she was telling me Obama was manipulating the air in her tires.
Well, that I'm sure is true.
Right.
Yes.
Well, listen.
Because Obama doesn't have enough to do, so he's, spending half his day worrying about Orly Tate's tires.
Well, listen, congratulations. Last time I saw you in D.C., you were not yet a father, and you were not yet regularly hosting for weeks at a time on MSNBC.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Both of those are lovely things.
Hey, so I actually thought that, the other day I was watching MSNBC and this commercial comes up and says, starting whatever date in September, 10 o'clock on MSNBC, it's the new voice, the new progressive, whatever. And I'm thinking, it's got to be Cenk Uygur who got a show there. I wait, and the end of the commercial says, The Lawrence O'Donnell Show. And I'm thinking to myself, Lawrence O'Donnell, Cenk can't be particularly happy about that, right?
No, that's not true. Lawrence is a good guy. No, I know it sounds political, but he really is, and he's a strong progressive. He's been at it for a long time, and he really holds people's feet to the fire. You could tell because Scarborough would cut his mic every once in a while when he was on Morning Joe. So
Right.
You know he's a fighter. So it's all good. It's all everybody has a different role, and Lawrence's show is totally unrelated to what's happening with me at MSNBC.
Gotcha, but things seem to be going well. I mean, you seem to be enjoying yourself. They seem to be getting the right amount of makeup on your face.
I'm sorry, say that one more time, David?
You seem to be enjoying yourself. They're getting the right amount of makeup on your face for your guest hosting appearances.
Yeah, when I used to work in TV in Miami a long time ago.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, and I always thought that was the thing. If you were getting makeup, then you'd made it, right? Because that meant you were about to go on air.
Yeah.
So I suppose by that standard, I have at least somewhat made it.
How planned is every single word when you do an MSNBC hour show? I mean, you like me are used to riffing about different topics for as long as you feel like it. What if you were to just go off on one of your rants during, the Ed Schultz show?
Well, that's a good question. And when you're on television, almost everything is scripted.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that it's fake. For example, I write almost the entire show whenever I'm on, whenever I fill in. It's a little different format, that's all. So, part of the reason that they have to script it is because they want to make sure I'm not going to say anything too crazy.
Right.
With me, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
So, but the bigger reason why you have to script things is so that everything matches, graphics, video, etc.
Sure.
It's mainly for the production values. That's really 90% of it. And so, would they let me just do a rant one day without, the video matching, etc.? So actually, they would, and they have in the past to some degree. If I had my own show, I'd probably insist on that a lot more because I feel that it feels so much more authentic.
Yeah.
When you do it that way. But we'll experiment with that as we go.
Hey, I got a bunch of emails when we announced we were going to be talking to you today about this controversy over you using the word homosexual. And I got a bunch of emails from people defending you and a bunch of emails from people saying, it's now become a negative word. And it wasn't even on my radar. And we have every anti-gay nut in the world on my show, everybody from, the God Hates Fags people to porno Peter LaBarbera and everybody in between. And I'm told that it's because now the emphasis, people are saying homosexual, and that now it's becoming a negative word. It wasn't even on my radar. I mean, how did you first hear about this?
A couple of weeks ago. Every once in a while you get someone telling you that a word that's been used forever is now off limits.
Right.
Look, there's good reasons for it. And we've discussed this now at length on our show, including having the person who wrote the blog against me on this from one of the most popular gay blogs on to come and have a conversation about it. And apparently people object to the word now because the right wing has smeared it so thoroughly like they did with the word liberal, etc. And so they think that the word sex is in homosexual, and that conjures up a visual
right.
that some straight folks in the country are viscerally against, etc. I get the arguments. I understand it. At the same time, I think we have to stop ceding ground to the right wing. So if they say liberal's a dirty word, then I think it's a fantastic word. Same goes for homosexual. And yesterday on our show, Anna and I were talking about the word feminist and how they've made that a dirty word, when in fact, if you look at the history of feminism in this country, they liberated 50% of the country. I don't think people have any idea how important feminists were to this country. And to, I mean, it's the one civil rights movement that doesn't get nearly enough credit. So one by one, I'm taking these words back, and so they could deal with me.
Well, the other thing is, you're absolutely right. It's the people who don't like the movement have decided to try to make the word a negative word. If all of a sudden somebody started pronouncing Turkish, you're not going to stop just using the word, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, absolutely. I have to confess that back in the day, I'm so old school that when I was growing up, people would use Oriental the same way that they would use Asian.
Right.
And then I remember that when I went to college and that all of a sudden changed, then I have to confess to resisting that, because the arguments were, well, you don't call people Oriental, you call rugs Oriental. And I was like, what are you talking about? You call rugs Turkish and you call people Turkish. What difference does it make? Right?
Yeah.
But I have to confess, I lost that one. So if people are, offended enough by it and they think it has a negative connotation, it's a matter of where you draw the lines. It's not an easy black or white question. And so in the case of Oriental, I mean, obviously decades ago I gave up on that one. But enough. We've lost enough words to the right wing. But let's fight back.
Hey, you mentioned Ana Kasparian. I've been getting some funny. There's emails coming into me on the show with controversy over my co-host Lewis, who is, as you can tell from the name Lewis, he is a male, not female. And I actually got 2 emails from people saying, you need to have a girl like that guy Cenk's wife on the Young Turks.
Wife?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
How often do you get that among your own listeners even, or is that just restricted to my listeners?
From time to time, and every time I'm greatly amused. She's, of course, not my wife, not my girlfriend. And then, of course, there are the more conspiracy theories about what illicit things we've done behind the scenes,
right?
Which couldn't be further from the truth. I am very happily married, as you know, with my kid, and Anna is 16 years younger than me, believe it or not.
Right.
So, if anything, she's a little sister.
Hey, last minute or two here. Christine O'Donnell. We were talking earlier. Every week we're getting new insane clips of her saying everything under the rug, essentially. We could do a whole show just on Christine O'Donnell, or we could just not cover it at all. Where's the responsibility from liberal shows like ours? I mean, we have to cover it somewhat. How do you set the limit? I mean, you could just do hours on Christine O'Donnell.
And I have. I think there is no reasonable limit on Christine O'Donnell stories. Look, actually, this is an easy question at this point, because an election's coming up, and you got to let people know what they're voting for. And if you got a person who's off the rails, it's our job to let the electorate know that. I mean, you couldn't find a better time to talk about how crazy Christine O'Donnell is than right now. Later, when somebody like Sarah Palin's out of power, I think there's a reasonable question as to how much we empower her by continuing to talk about her. But I don't think that's the case with O'Donnell at all.
You don't think we've gotten even close to that point?
No, because, I mean, this is the time where you got to let people know so they can vote accordingly. If she loses and we're still concentrating on her, and that's allowing her to get bigger book sales and bigger speaking contracts and more, be able to influence people more, then I think it's a very legitimate question.
Which did happen.
Right,
which did happen with Sarah Palin.
Oh, no question. And that's why covering Sarah Palin is a tricky thing, because it's fun and it's fascinating, and we're in the business of delivering information in an entertaining way, and she makes that easy on us.
Right.
But at the same time, I get that we're but coincidentally pushing her message to some of the crazies who happen to like that message.
Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks. Will Christine O'Donnell win?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I'd be really surprised.
All right, my co-host is bleaching his hair and then dyeing it red if she does. So I'm still with you, though. I don't think she will, but at least we have something to fall back on if that horrible day happens.
Yeah, well, if it does, yes, we've got Lewis's hairstyle and probably 200 new Christine O'Donnell stories to tell over the next 6 years as she's in the Senate. So that's the upside, but I don't want any part of that upside because these people will be, they're senators. They make an enormous difference. I hope to God she's not in the Senate.
All right, we've been speaking with Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks. Hope you get the car fixed. Thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, Lewis, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more after this, including Don Rojas from Free Speech TV.
You've been listening to Midweek Politics with Dave Pakman.
Midweek Politics is made possible in part by the Daily Hampshire Gazette and GazetteNet.com, connecting our communities with local news and information. By the National Priorities Project and Smith College Department of Government, hosting Congresswoman Donna Edwards on Sunday, October 3rd. More information at nationalpriorities.org. By DIF Design, specializing in custom business websites at difdesign.com. To find out more about underwriting Midweek Politics, visit midweekpolitics.com.